Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today we are thinking about dangerous weight loss drugs. Oh, how we need to think about this, ladies and gentlemen. So, luckily, I have Joel here who's going to help us think about this in a whole new way. So, thank you so much for coming on my show, sharing your time and your perspective. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this. So let's just dive right in. When you hear those words, dangerous weight loss drugs, what does that make you think about?
Yeah, thanks, Mitzi. Excited to be here. A lot to think about when it comes to our health, and I'm looking forward to discussing some of these with you and your audience today. There's a lot with weight loss drugs, and we're what I've been focused on for the last 20 years of my helping to run and nutrition companies is to come up with a sustainable, common sense approach to health, which includes achieving and maintaining a healthy weight. And so it's not about quick fixes. It's about using legitimate science. It's addressing the root cause, not symptoms, and trying to come up with a sustainable way to become healthy. Not necessarily a quick fix, but something that you can live with healthy for your whole life.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed that ever since like in the early 2000s, it has been a push of just being quick results, quick results, lose weight fast, lose 10 pounds fast, lose this, lose that, get skinny, get size. I was like, it's so overwhelming. But in reality, that's not very healthy to lose 30 pounds in less than 6 months. It's not very healthy to try to squeeze into a size two when you're not even close to it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we have to really think about our health in the long term of life, the longevity of it. And I love the fact that your whole dedication is about exactly that, finding the science that backs it up and not just mixing things up and just seeing if it works. You know what I mean? And just hoping that it would eventually make you lose weight because I think more people need to realize it's not about losing the weight, it's about maintaining your health, maintaining your heart health, your mind health, your body health, your overall health, so that if the weight starts to lose off, well, then that's great, but that shouldn't be the main objective. It should be about your health. You know what I mean? So it's like, what really makes a product healthy, I guess, to make it more sense.
Right. When we think about weight management,
Mhm.
it's there's no question people are heavier now than they've ever been. And you'll hear from all kinds of medical professionals that being at a healthy weight is important. But for most of us, it's taken a long time to gain weight. It's rare that it's very, very sudden. And so this desire to immediately lose it or with minimal effort that we can or lose weight, it's what's led to these quick fixes. And that goes back to in the 1900s or the late 1900s, people were on literally a speed, I mean, an illicit drug that helped them lose weight. But the impact to their health was incredibly poor. And then later you had fen-phen and ephedra and all kinds of other drugs. People are always looking for a quick fix, and that's led to this sudden rise over the past few years with these GLP-1 drugs. And while the results can be impressive, we're only beginning to see the incredibly negative impact that it's having to overall health. That's very worrying because it's just simply not sustainable. We just don't know yet. I mean, we're already aware of just some awful things that are happening with people, but we still don't know the full spectrum of challenges that are forthcoming.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm with you on that because every body is different in one way or another. We respond to certain chemicals in our body differently. And even just, um, these GPL-1 drugs that are in the rise right now, it's kind
Mhm.
of scary because I have seen a lot of side effects from a lot of other people talking about how they have problems eating now and just trying to consume food and just trying to maintain food down. It's a problem, and just like their body's just reacting differently, or now that they stop the drugs, their body
Mm.
still acts that way where it's still eating other parts of their body. I mean, I've seen where some of those drugs are they don't know the difference between fat cells and regular muscle tissue or organs,
Mm.
and now it's affecting organs and their muscle mass. So it really is difficult to really say what will work for what will work for me, or you know what I mean, or for the masses. So and I've also agreed that, you know, sometimes it takes more time for things to really reveal itself, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
back then in the days they said that cocaine was okay, you know what I mean? And people used it
Right.
in their dentistry, and they used it in actual Coca-Cola products, and then
Sure.
they realized, you know what, it's bad, we shouldn't use it, and then they banned it. So, you know, it's like when do you think people will really start taking their health a little bit more seriously instead of trying to find these quick fixes?
Well, the need for a quick fix, or the need for a legitimate long-term solution versus a quick fix, it's it's always important, but perhaps no more so than it is now. You you you're seeing people who are taking these GLP-1 drugs, which they were originally created to help um, they were diabetes medications. And
Yeah.
so GLP-1 is a hormone that our body naturally produces after eating. So this helps to regulate blood sugar and signal to your brain that you're feeling full. So these effectively work by turning off the desire to eat. So in for most people, restricting calories is not a it's not healthy. We shouldn't overeat, but eating fewer calories is rarely sustainable. So this drug effectively helps you to starve yourself. And there
Mm,
are a host of issues with that. So for instance, as you mentioned, the side effects are pretty worrying. The one being a lot of people aren't eating because they feel nauseous most of the time.
mhm,
Not everybody, of course, but a significant number of people taking these GLP-1 drugs feel nauseous, and along with other pretty severe gastrointestinal issues.
mhm.
You mentioned the muscle loss, and there's actual bone loss as well. So when you're not
Mm,
eating,
wow.
sure, you're losing fat, but you're losing muscle and bone as well. Now, the challenge with that is that most people regain weight after stopping taking these drugs. And I'll get to that in just a minute, why people stop taking them. So they stop taking these drugs, most people regain the weight. Now, the problem is that they have less muscle and bone. So from a metabolic standpoint, they're actually far worse off. So now they have their total body mass is far more fat than it was previously muscle and bone. And that has a host of disastrous issues associated with it. When they're not eating, of course, you're nutrient deficient. So you're simply not getting enough of your macro and needed macro and micronutrients. And so then we get to some of the long-term effects in terms of vision damage and vision loss. That's come up recently. And so then there's the cost. It can cost upwards of $1,000 a month to be on this.
Mm,
So you have some of the people that, in terms of the population, the poorer group of people in our country are the most overweight. Well, they simply can't afford this. In fact, people just can't afford an extra $1,000 or so. Now, if you're lucky you have insurance, perhaps it's more sustainable, but it's not something that you're encouraged to take long term anyway because of the health impacts. And so it's not a fix. It's not a lifestyle fix. It's
it
a
really
real
isn't.
problem.
It really is. It's a real problem, and I think it's just showing. everybody that it is a problem. And I love the fact that you brought up how it was first found for diabetics, because I do remember that. I remember when that came out on the news and how they found this drug that was able to help diabetes, not only in help control their blood sugars, but also help control their weight gain and weight loss
Yeah,
and things like that. So yeah, I remember that completely. And then they just kind of twisted it, turned it, and now they were like, oh, now it's available for everybody, anybody who's
yeah,
overweight, and they can't do it anymore. And it sucks because commercials are making it seem like, oh, it's for everybody, anybody, any
mm,
age. You can make this work and make it happen. And it's kind of scary because it's like, if you're getting bone loss, if you're getting muscle loss, if you're getting vision loss, if you're having organ issues,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Does that really benefit certain age groups? You know what I mean? Does that really work
mm,
for the people who are older? No, I wouldn't think so, because they're already going through that
right.
naturally. And then to add this on, wouldn't you just think it speeds it up faster? And it makes it kind of scary, because it's like, what if it changes our internal programming, you know what I mean, and how we process
Mm,
food and how we process things, that where it changes it to now want other types of meats or other types of foods that aren't really what we would be accustomed to already having in our stores or in our homes. So it really makes it interesting, because I know that's a what if on the really end side of the
sure.
spectrum, but it really does make me think about, like, what if we start craving other things, you know what I mean? And it's
Mm.
just like, we never know where that will be. So it's like, what's a good source that you have found that has been very healthy and sustainable to really meet that health needs?
Yeah, it's really addressing the underlying issues of why we have such rapid weight gain. And that starts, not to sound too much of a conspiracy theorist, but the average American today weighs more than 30 pounds heavier than the average American did in the 70s.
Mhm.
And the big change there was the infamous food pyramid, where we
Mhm.
emphasized carbohydrates and de-emphasized, in fact, really encouraged people not to consume dietary fat. And so
Mm.
they've done a brilliant job over 50 years of making fat an enemy, where it's actually an incredibly important macronutrient. So, and I'll get to that in just a moment, but what these GLP-1 drugs effectively do is they help you to rent weight loss. You don't
Mm.
own it. And so by
Mhm.
making these lifestyle changes, including exercise, including diet, and that's not a very exciting thing to talk about, because it's something that has been discussed and addressed for decades, of course. But there are some things that a growing body of clinical research is showing, that changes to diet really can help produce not only optimal health, but a real manageable, healthy weight level as well. So the first is to try and keep blood glucose and
Mhm.
insulin low, and and to allow your metabolism to work properly. So by focusing on macronutrients, including protein and dietary fat, healthy sources of dietary fat, short chain, medium chain, and long chain sources, trying to avoid seed oils. And there's a lot, that's a whole other discussion I'm sure you can have here soon. But you look for natural sources of healthy fat and protein, and try and really minimize carbohydrates, especially those that are ultra processed. If you're eating vegetables, if you're eating fruit, for the most part, that's fine. But you really
Mhm.
should be putting an emphasis on those protein and healthy sources of fat, ideally fat with the protein, such as with beef and salmon and eggs and fattier cuts of chicken. um, your body will just simply function much, much better, and it will naturally burn body fat instead of burning sugar, burning glucose. And so
Mm.
that's the short answer to how to address this. It's not the sexiest answer out there. You don't take it in a pill, but you'll feel more satisfied. You'll be healthier. And for almost every person, you will be healthier, and you will naturally get to a healthy and be able to maintain a healthy weight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because we even been seeing over now that a lot of these weight when you stop, not only will you gain the weight and be improper, like we were speaking about earlier, but you get all this excess skin. And now it's like, what do you do with all this
Mm,
excess skin? It's an organ, but it doesn't necessarily contract in a manner that if it's not being worked on, and then you're not going to actually have that tightness, that toneness that people are
mm,
eventually are looking for. And I love the
sure.
fact that you talked about how eating the right foods, and I think that's one thing that we've kind of dismissed because we want to live this life where we eat whatever we want, no matter how fatty, greasy, and nasty it really is, and not taking into
Yeah,
consideration what we're fueling our body with, because our body's like a car. You're not going to put in the bad not the wrong gas, or you're going to put diesel in a gas engine or a gas in a diesel, you know what I mean? You're not
sure.
going to do that because the mechanicalism is not going to actually work that way. However, we have moved past it because now it's about convenience, and we are paying for convenience in our lives, but not realizing that short-term convenience
Mm,
has those long-term effects. So when we start being more intentional with our food and with our objectives in our daily lives, and we can really start seeing that long-term difference. Because when I was pregnant, I got the biggest that I was, and I was borderline pre-diabetic. And then I had to realize,
mm,
like, I have to be more conscientious about my weight, my lifestyle, because of my sons. I have to live for them now. And I had
right.
to change the way that I see food, change the way that I see myself, and my relationship with working out, just so that I can start living a healthier lifestyle. And I changed it. I lost the weight. I'm healthier again, and I'm at this sustainable mindset where it's like I have to be more conscientious about what I take in because of that. And I agree. I think when more people start having that more intentional conversation within themselves, then it causes them to really reflect on what they're eating, and what they're consuming. And I think more people really need to do that in the long term, because you can't avoid everything, but you can avoid the things that in your heart that's already bad. Like, you're not going to just eat all of this fast food all in once. You know what I mean? You have to break it down, or you have to start be more, like, I don't know, it's just you just have to be more
Yeah,
intentional and just think about it. Just
yeah.
think about what you're putting into your body. And I think that's the best way we can really go about it. So it's just like, for you, how did you really start becoming more intentional with your body and
Mm.
just your overall health?
Well, I mean, just to help summarize and as a tie-in to this topic, you can't drug your way out of a nutrition problem.
Oh, I
And
love that.
so for myself, I had a couple of family members when I earlier in life
Mm,
who as my larger family, we believe that their lives could have been improved and lengthened if they had better information. And so that's
mm,
really driven it. In my immediate family, um, we have some different health issues where nutrition and exercise have really made an incredible difference in the quality of life and the ability to stay active and to do the things that we're passionate about and the things that we love, have been so improved. And so I come about it naturally. And from a business standpoint, for the past 20 years, I've been involved in helping to operate nutrition companies and to develop nutrition products. And so what I see is that a lot of people are looking for not only quick fixes, but things that are just simple and easy. And
yeah.
so what I would share is that if you have belly fat that won't budge, even with some diet and exercise, if you have big energy crashes after your meals, if you have high blood pressure, if you have water retention, if you have a family history of diabetes or health of heart disease, these are indications that you need to make some changes. And there are several other things, but those are kinds of five easy ones that a lot of
Yeah.
people can notice. And so with that, it's really trying to keep your blood sugar low. It's really focusing on the macronutrients in the right approach. It's eating foods that are high in protein and high in fats naturally. People hear fat and they think of, oh, that's unhealthy or that's gross or whatever else. done properly, think of a really good cut of beef or of eggs or of salmon or chicken, like I'd mentioned, or like fattier cuts of chicken, like chicken thighs. They're not only delicious, but they're satiating. They
Mm,
help you to feel naturally, to feel full. It'd be difficult to overeat with that. If you eat vegetables in conjunction with that, if you have some low sugar fruit as part of that, boy, that's you'll be satisfied, you'll feel better, you'll look better. Um, so really where I got passionate about it was trying to not only provide education, um, and that's what my career has been around providing products and education for people so that they can look and feel better.
yeah.
And so if everybody had the time, the knowledge, the budget, the discipline to plan, purchase, and prepare metabolically perfect meals that would help them achieve these health and weight goals, they should do that 100% of the time. And these are things that are known. The challenge is that the overwhelming majority, certainly north of 90% of the population, they don't have the time. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the budget to plan, purchase, and prepare these metabolically perfect meals. And so they make other choices. Many of them, myself included, at times when I'm stressed or when I'm busy, I grab what's convenient. I grab what's quick. I grab what's easy, what's at hand. I
Mm,
grab what is available as I'm driving down the street. And that is almost always something that is really bad for me and bad for us.
mm,
And so that's where we got really passionate about creating a company and providing a product that would help people in literally 30 seconds get something that is nutritionally complete, that from
mm.
a macronutrient and micronutrient standpoint is optimized to help with brain health, to help with gut health, to help with metabolic health. And so we created a little company that we call Health Code. HLTH is how it's spelled, but it's pronounced Health Code. And it's easily the most nutritionally complete meal shake ever developed, and it costs about what a crummy cup of coffee will cost. But it's easily the health for most people the healthiest meal of the day. And so that's where we got
Mm.
really passionate about it. And we also provide free science articles each week and free recipes, both that you can utilize our shake powder with, but also we provide other meal recipes just so that people can make better choices. And that's really what keeps us up at night and keeps us motivated is to try and help as many people as possible, whether they
Mm.
use our product or not, just to make better choices so they can feel better, they can look better, and they can have longer lives with their families.
Oh, I love that. I love that because it goes back on what you were saying earlier, lack of information. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
that's a lot of the times you're absolutely right. People don't have the information. They don't know. And maybe the generations before them, they didn't have the information either. So they're just going on the last system default. You know what I mean? And they're just doing
yeah,
what they think is best. And there's no shame in just doing what you think is best. At least you're feeding your family, providing a roof over them, doing the best that you can, but it's when you get that information and you're exposed to better information to actually help you and entice you to do better because now you know better. I think that's the gift, the true gift you can give people is just that ability of knowledge, because once you give that knowledge to somebody else, now it's out of your hands. Now it's on the other person to really do what's best for themselves and for their family unit, for the community, for everything really. So it's just
right.
having that knowledge is truly empowering. And I think that's the reason why we're having this conversation in general, is because this is the start of it. You know what I mean? When somebody's listening, they're gonna really think about it and like, do I have the discipline? Do I have the time? Do I really have the budget? And I think the fact that you market the product at a very realistic and reasonable price, where it's the same cost as a coffee that you'd buy at any drive-through in town,
Yeah.
that makes it very realistic, because if you can buy coffee, then you can buy this product, you know what I mean? And I think when it becomes that reasonable, then it's like, okay, now it really is up to me to do something about this. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that when you're able to trust somebody and know that it's not just a product, but you can utilize it for menus in your home, and redesign the way that you eat Monday through Friday, or just Monday through Monday, you know what I mean? You really start
Mhm.
having that conscientious thought, is what brings that empowerment back into someone's life. It's not about weight loss, it's about mental gain, that confidence that you're doing things differently in a more in a proactive way of living. And I think it really will change the trajectory of humanity in general. So I truly do thank you for this. And time is catching up to us, and I'm sad because I could pick your brain more, but what can be some
Yeah.
lasting words that you can leave us off with to keep on thinking?
Yeah, your health, you're responsible for your health, and it's a choice that we make each day. Um, and there are lots of good options out there. It's starting simply to avoid sugar, uh,
Hmm.
and reduce that in your life, to try and eat more closely to the earth with healthy proteins and healthy fats. And when you're in a rush, there are some good options out there like Health Code that you can at least get a healthy meal in a few seconds for about $3. And so it's you can do it. Those of you who are
Yeah.
watching and are worried about this, don't go for the easy solution, which is much more expensive and worrying with those GLP-1 drug choices. Try and walk a little bit more, do a little bit more exercise, focus on an appropriate diet, and just give it a few weeks, give it a few months. You're going to feel better pretty quickly, and you're going to look a lot better before you know it. People will
Oh,
notice.
oh yeah, absolutely. Just have that take that into consideration and really, really think about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, because I truly did, go check out Joel. I have his website in the audio description if you're listening in audio, if you're on YouTube watching the full video. Go check it out in the description. Click on it, and his access to his website, access to all that great information that he was we were just discussing, about the menus, about the products, about all of the greatness, so that you can start considering your life and the trajectory of your life in a whole new way, and start stepping into that power. And this is a form of self-love for all those people who are on those, I need to love myself better. How you eat is a form of self-love. How you exercise is a form of self love, because it's how you take care of your body. We only have one body, one vessel, so take care of it. This is all we got. So truly keep that in mind, and always, always keep thinking, y'all. Bye.